This is a reading for the end of August, and I'm really excited about what's going to come out because I had one of my spirit guides today say to me specifically, I have some information for you. So I know if it's for me, it might also be for all of you. So let's get started with the reading. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Carey. I'm a medium and a mentor, and I'm also a sacred feminine guide. And in the readings I offer on this channel, I really provide a lot of in-depth insight, primarily focused on your spiritual growth, ascension, and healing. And I also work for balancing out the sacred feminine. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you've come to the right place. And I'm also a channel, so I tune in to my guides, ancestors, and also your guides and loved ones. So every time before I sit down to do a reading for all of you, I'm really tapping in and saying, how can I serve? What does everyone need to know today? So today feels like an important message. And as I mentioned in the intro of this video, I had one of my guides come through who actually I have never met before that I'm aware of, and he was in the Akashic Records. I work in the Akashic Records and I do Akashic Records readings all the time, and I felt like in this case with this guide that he was specifically directing me to know that I need to be able to focus when I go in there to bring through really in-depth information. And being that I'm a medium and I'm a channel, this isn't just for me, this tends to be for the collective that come to me for readings. So I really hope this resonates for you, that this is really tapped into what you need to hear right now, and that this will help all of us with our growth and our healing journey while we're on this planet, on this path. So I'm going to be first going into the oracle and just seeing what comes, because that's what feels right now. Again, one thing I did want to mention a little bit is the astrology of where we are right now. We have a lot of planets that are connected to the sign of Cancer, but also we have a lot that are connected to the planet of Venus that are integral and very important. So for me, that looks like a lot of the divine feminine or the sacred feminine is rising up from obscurity. As we know, many of you are on your path already. You've heard about the divine feminine rising, the sacred feminine, and really what that means. And so the surge that's coming, this has been going on for quite a few years, but right now there's just important information that I think many of us who are channels recognize that we need to share with people of what we're picking up on. So the astrology is important, the timing is important, and that we all just know, sort of what to expect or at least be open to, because energy just does change and things are not always fixed, but there are common threads. The interesting thing for me with some of the other readers that I really respect and admire, astrologers and also psychics and mediums that are also tapping into collective energy, they're all saying similar things about the month of August. And one of the things that I'm really hearing is that the month of August 2025 specifically, or whenever you find this, it's meant for you if it's for you, right? So it has a lot to do with purging physically. And so that means it's not just energetic, it's literally coming down to your physical DNA, your tissue, your blood, bones, muscles, things of that nature. It's also an intense time. So you want to make sure you're really being careful with your grounding and shielding your energy, protecting your energy just from being ungrounded and not centered. Now, many people I know that have been having things happen to them physically. Some people have been in some accidents, which is, thankfully everyone I know is fine. And also people have been having physical things that have been going on. I would say you just want to be mindful of how this could affect you. So caring for yourself is very important. So let's kind of go into this a little bit and see what we're getting. So first of all, the energy coming out, again, they're wanting me to go from the bottom of this to the top. So I'll show you guys all the cards. So I am working with this incredible deck, which is the Kim Cran's The Wild Unknown Alchemy deck, which is just a fantastic deck. It really speaks to, I would say, core materials of what makes up our experience and how we can transform and change things into the direction and the flow that we want them to grow to, and that we are not fighting the flow. That's very important, and my guides keep telling me that. So the one thing this guide is telling me from the Akashic Records, he's saying that one of the main things is you want to understand it is like going down a river. It's a current of energy. And so you want to, the way you can best navigate this time is to feel, just get grounded and feel what is the flow of energy directing you towards in your life, in the different parts of your life. So rather than trying to resist where you're being directed, go with the flow and learn to let go, because you're not by yourself. Your spirit team, your loved ones, your guides, your higher self are all trying to help you on your journey. So right away, we're getting that Mars energy. So the Mars energy, that's that Aries energy, very intense. It's the beginning of the zodiac, right? So it's going to be the charging ahead, we're going to move forward. We have to inch our way to the next thing we're doing. But also along the way, what we're doing is clearing out blockages and energies that are not serving us anymore. So you want to be very mindful of what's, you're holding on to. It's almost like there's several tower moments going on, and that there's a need to just release some of these energies. But because we're not totally sure the direction, it can really feel as though you're tumbling in a dryer. That's what they're showing me. So what do we need to stay connected and in flow? We need to make sure that we take care of our bodies. So hydration is very important. Being grounded is very important. Centering yourself, checking back in. Maybe at this time you need to use a pendulum or even dowsing rods to get certain yes or no answers you're not sure about. Okay? So as I'm looking at the rest of these cards, we're getting this card of mortification. Now, mortification too, I want to say in this deck, for me, it feels specifically like we are going into some of our shadow, and we're taking out some of that shadow, and we're not ignoring it. We're not disregarding our pain, our suffering, things that have shaped us in some ways, but we're going to use it in a way, just like a good alchemist, to help us along our way. So remember, the things that you've experienced in your life or in other lifetimes, it can help you heal yourself, but also others. So you're going to use the story of your pain to move you forward. And whether you're a healer or a reader or a coach or a teacher of some type, you can use your story and the knowledge you get from that just to be able to help others and provide insight. This is very comforting to a lot of people, is what I'm hearing. Okay. Next, we have the Azure Vault, the Blue Temple. So this is a special, I'm trying to remember what the book says about this. I usually just go completely on my psychic abilities and what my guides give me, but I feel like this is a specific level. And I'm going to correlate this with the Akashic Records. So we all have the ability to tap in to realms of consciousness where we can channel wisdom and guidance. It does take some preparation. It does take some guidance. You can get a lot of meditations. I have some on this channel. I'll link some other ones that I have as well that I recommend. But getting to a place where you can gain clarity about your life circumstances. This is going to be really important. Just that blue temple. For me, the color blue is associated with healing and communication. It's also associated with the throat chakra, so being able to bring forth the information. So likely, if you're hearing this and you connect with this reading, You're a person who's being guided to share and channel information. And we all need to be doing this if we feel compelled in the ways, whether big or small, that help others. So traveling along your journey, making sure to like channel, write down what your awareness is. And the more you do that, the more concrete you make it, the more in alignment you will feel with your truth, and then grounding it into your life, but it will also help other people. It's really what I'm hearing. Next, we're getting yellowing. Yellowing is another part of the curation process when you're developing something from an alchemical perspective, but also notice the snake here. The snake is what? The divine feminine. It's the sacred feminine. The color yellow is also associated with the third chakra. That's empowerment. So as again, we're going back to that sacred feminine again, and being empowered. This isn't gender related. Remember, it's you being empowered with being that part of yourself, being free, not being controlled, suppressed, meleeed, or just dampened your light, but really getting in and expanding that energy and allowing yourself to go a bit wild, to be honest with you. That's really what I'm getting. I think that's necessary. Be free. I'm also hearing the words, get your head out of the clouds. I think sometimes when we're on our spiritual paths, we can, especially in the very beginning years, we can get, so into learning about the quantum field, 5D, star seeds even, let's say potentially, or our abilities that we sometimes disconnect from the world around us. I just think it's a period of time. It does happen. It happens to people, I think, almost every time we go into it. And we sometimes separate ourselves from our loved ones or people that we care about, who we've been connected to a long time. And I just want to say, if this is you, it's okay. But remember, we need both parts of our lives to stay balanced. We also need to be grounded on the earth to really make a difference as well. So even if you don't do this as work, or if you do this professionally, remember, we also want to make sure to not completely cut off the mundane. Being grounded is super important. And if you're interested in more earth-based spiritual practices, feel free to keep spending time here on this channel. That's what I tend to connect with. I am learning and growing along with you, but I tend to like to keep it really integrated and grounded as well. The other thing I did want to share with all of you is I have a spiritual membership for women called Goddess Rising. And we really focus on, I would say, a sacred feminine, earth-based spiritual practices, integrating them into our daily lives. We work in the Akashic Records. We work with expanding our intuitive abilities, our psychic abilities, mediumship. So if you're interested in that, there's a link below. Let's see what we have here. I'm feeling the need. I'm going to keep going with this. Yes, see, this is making a lot of sense. Okay, I'm going to keep going with the alchemical deck, but then we're going to go into this other deck I have, which is pretty exciting for the Star Seed Oracle, because they're calling me. I must be talking to a group of a lot of people who are on their path right now, which I'm so excited to have you here. We're getting Sinus and Ash. Notice inside we have a triangle there, but this is literally after something has been, if you've ever seen metalsmiths, when they take that, the torch, and then they melt down whatever silver or gold, their metals they're working with, how quickly it turns to liquid. That's really what we want to be pliable with. Anything that we feel is stiff or hard in our energy or in our lives that needs to be transformed, we want to call upon our guides and the healing energy that we have available to us from the highest level in order to release these blockages. And resistance is really important. And then right here, we're getting Quicksilver. So that's pretty amazing, because that's literally a liquidating of this energy. So it kind of starts out here and then it goes into the ash formation. So you're right now like moving through things, working through energy. A lot of the times it can be helpful to have these correlations of visualizations or imagining, being able to imagine how energy transforms to help the energy in your own system. It can be very helpful. Also to note, I have a couple of meditations which are on releasing blockages, so feel free to check those out. I'll put those in the links. So let's move into the Starseed Oracle portion. Okay, this is reminding me a lot. I'm going to have to do another Akashic Records reading for you guys soon, because the archway here, Baby Steps Oracle, for me, this looks a lot like what I see the Akashic Records being like. It's ethereal, but yet it also still looks like familiar. And this has to do with follow your intuition before it makes sense. That's really you moving. And whenever we see an archway, that really means you're stepping through a portal. You're moving to the next step, but you're also creating a sound structure around you. Because if you think about an arch, it's one of the strongest structures there is. That's why they have them in many, older buildings, churches included, these arches. So this is all about you being in transition, moving from one place of understanding to the next, and allowing yourself to be changed as that happens. And that will take some understanding that sometimes it's going to be, again, we talked in the beginning about the physicality of this, and that we want you to take good care of yourselves and be mindful of being grounded so that you understand, because you're going through so much shedding. I do want to invite all of you to, I live stream every single Friday at 5 p.m. And during that time, we do a lot of different channeled readings, but we also sometimes do healing work. So be sure to come and see us. Okay, again, remember when we talked about you using the experiences that you have, that you've undergone, possibly the challenges, the pain, the pitfalls, and then using that to be like a messenger or a helper for others, whether you do it professionally or not. Here we're getting Sirius, the messenger, Sirius, as in the planet Sirius, energy, bringing harmony and balance. I'm just taking that in right now, because that's a lot of the time what I like to have my students and clients imagine is that you have a golden light either emitting from within you or above you. And that light helps to transition you and remove blockages. We're also getting breath of the cosmos. Oh my goodness, my will to thy will. Micromanaging the universe. That is pretty special. So you are blending your energy again. This is all about going with the river, the flow. We talked about that. Powerful oracle messages today. I love this. Let's move into the tarot and see where that is going to take us. I'm excited to see. I'm going to tap in with my guide and see what he has to say as well, the one we mentioned in the beginning. So the first thing he's mentioned is something about astral travel. So what this looks like to me is that some of you are having either conscious out-of-body experiences, or it's also happening when you're dreaming. I know I've been dreaming more than usual. And during that time, there are a lot of shifts happening, because there's only so much you can do in your waking hours. So if you notice that you are having a lot of these vivid dreams, or even if you're moving throughout time and space, maybe you're even heading into past lives, or I'm hearing time travel. So it does feel to me like there's just literally shifts in understanding of the energy that's going on, of your reality. And again, another really good reason to stay grounded so that you can integrate all this new expansion into your daily life. So we're pulling right away the Judgment card and the King of Wands. Those are powerful combinations. The King of Wands, of course, is fire energy. Sagittarius, Aries, right? Leo, very big energy, but also literally I'm seeing an image of one of those, I can't say the word because I don't want to have it come up here, but if you're taking something that has a blaze at the end of it with a fire and you're just torching everything, it's like a blowtorch, but even more so, and you are lighting up anything that's in your way. That's the energy of what I see here. And the energy of Libra here, Justice card, is really going to the places where there's imbalances, balance, harmony. This, again, to me, it's one of those moments in our experience, in our conscious experience along our spiritual path, where it's intense and yet it's for our highest good. So on some level, it feels like you're getting your butt kicked, but at the same time, you're being nurtured by all that energy, which I mentioned, that Cancer energy, that Venus energy, that sacred feminine energy of motherhood and sensuality and reactivation of the body. Amazing. And this makes so much sense because look at this. The Tower card is next to the moon. So the moon represents the divine feminine. That's Hecate's energy. That is Selene's energy, right? That is the divine feminine, her mystery, her psychism, her abilities, her deep unconscious, and her freedom. Yet to be tapped in and unknown, has been hidden. And now the Tower is coming to literally destroy whatever's in the way. So that's, again, why we want to stay grounded. We want to stay grounded. All right. So as I'm moving now, I want to find out what can we expect in these last sort of days of summer here in the Western Hemisphere. If you are living in the Southern Hemisphere, then you're moving right into, you're in springtime, right? So moving into springtime. Should I say that? Yeah, moving into springtime. So that's an exciting time there as well. All right, so powerful, again, with the King of Wands. There are two Kings of Wands in this. So right away, I'm going to put it in this order so you can see. King of Wands with the Five of Swords. This is such a powerful energy of, as you know, because the energy of Leo is a luminary. So anything that is of the light is shining itself. It's finding all the dark spaces. No stone left unturned is what my guide is telling me. And it feels, he's got a really funny sense of humor. He said, you're going to feel like a crock of dung, crock poo. So, which is hilarious. I think that's so funny the way he just said that. But at the same time, as this is all going on, this huge transformation, bringing up this pain, at the same time, I feel like this sense on a spirit level that you are reveling in just how incredible it feels to feel a deeper sense of freedom. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's fascinating. It makes me also feel as though, like, I want to look at the chakras while we're doing this. So again, the chakras are, we have chakras that are above our head. I think there's somewhere upwards of like 13 or more. And then we have our common 7 chakras, which we know about. So let's see, I'm hearing something like pay attention to the chakras. So King of Swords is here with the 7 of Wands coming out. The Knight of Cups in the reverse with the Ace of Swords. Okay. So that's intense. So we have a lot of this powerful swords energy, the mind, communication, assertion. It's a masculine energy. So again, we're going back to what is in the shadow is hidden. So that's what I'm hearing. What is in the shadow is hidden. So as we're shining that light on anything, remember, first of all, I am really getting that thing about making sure you're kind to yourself while you're going down this journey. Because it's gonna, you don't need to be anywhere else than where you are. That's really what he's saying. So the main thing is allow the light to be shown on these places or allow it to move through you. Don't worry about trying to make something make sense or put things together that are not meant to be put together, right? So the 7 of Wands with the King of Swords is also trying to get you to protect yourself and have good boundaries while you are, in fact, standing in your power and while you are getting clear. Even if you don't always feel as strong as you need to be, understand that in this healed version of this masculine, this divine masculine, they protect the process the feminine is going through, which is a healing process so she can come back into power and flourish. And then finally, we're finishing up here with our tarot, and then I'm going to get a summary of the week ahead of what's coming up. We're getting Ace of Swords, Knight of Cups in reverse. So we are still challenged emotionally. We're still looking at that heart chakra possibly and feeling muffled. So that is going to take probably some journal work, some clarification of possibly if you feel muddled, just getting a little clearer by going in and asking those questions. What do I need to know? What's coming up? And I'm hearing allow things to float up to the surface, because sometimes the answers don't come right away and you just to allow for things to come forward. Okay. All right. Let's pull the 2 final cards for us. What's the final thing that we need to know for the rest of August? 2 of Cups and the Sun. That's gorgeous. So this is a relying on, 2 of Cups can be relationships, of course, a relationship with yourself, a relationship with your higher self, a relationship with your guides, spirit, the divine, ancestors. And the Sun is there to support you. Remember, the luminary of the Sun Leo, is going to also point out what needs to be looked at. But remember, you have the support of those that love you in spirit. You're also your higher self, your team. So really rely on your guides right now, because they can give you so much support on a spirit level, but also an energetic level, and give you a sense of peace and clarity. So when you feel the most weakened, lean into them. That's what the 2 of Cups for me is about when it's in this form, or those that love you and support you. I have enjoyed doing this reading so much for you, and this community means the world to me. I love my YouTube channel and all of you as members. So if you enjoyed this, I would love for you to subscribe, like, and please feel free to watch any of my other readings and videos. Remember, I go live every single Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then please put in the comments what you enjoyed about this reading, if any of this made sense. And then let me know where you're tuning in from too. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.